What's happening, guys? Apparently, it goes throwing water bottles at me. Let me know if you hear any wind noise, because my phone overheats really fast because it's a piece of crap. And I've got this little fan thing behind it, so yeah, let me know if there's wind noise behind it or not. The R6 Type S engine, fantastic motor. That's what I have in my Integra. I absolutely love it. You'll love it too. Yeah, as long as you keep oil in those things, because K-Series are kind of prone to burning a bit of oil. And oil starvation by headquarters. But yeah, no, R6 Type S motor is fantastic. Can't go wrong with like 8,500, 9,000 RPM rev limiter, like on a stock motor safely. I think mine makes 208. No, this is Del Sol EG rear brace. The roof braces, I'm only doing those like a made-to-order type thing, just because they're kind of a pain to make, and people keep crying. So can't please everyone. So the people that want to run my version of it, they can order it one at a time. I'm not going to bother making a batch of them. It's very time consuming, much more time consuming than making these braces. So that's what I'm doing, is making another brace. Hopefully my phone don't overheat on me. Really need to save up and buy a new one. I've got the iPhone 7 Plus, but it's like 4 years old now. And every time I go to turn on like my low battery, whatever thing it's called, my phone yells at me and says my battery needs to be serviced. Every time I take the stand off, I always end up throwing my bolts because I tilt it over. It's annoying. This is a rear strut brace. So it's not like those cheap eBay ones you can buy for 80 or 100 bucks or whatever. This one's made out of 1 inch by 90 thousandths steel tubing. So it weighs about 5.5 pounds, but really ties the whole car together. Because I was running an eBay rear strut brace in my Integra, and that's where I came up with the ideas for making these ones. And you could grab it, you could flex it back and forth, but not with mine. You grab mine, you flex it, or you shake it, your whole car goes with it. So it's definitely sturdy. And I've definitely noticed an improvement on my Integra, at least in the rear end, with chassis twisting. From when I'm out at the canyon and stuff. So yeah, this is pretty much the main design. I can also do like an X style that goes from here to here, and then this one to that one up here. But people seem to really just like the simple straight across ones, so that's totally fine with me. Yeah. Simple, effective. So far people have said they look good, so I appreciate that. Where are they going with this? I don't know. So I do have a video going up here in a little bit once I'm done with this. Doing some more work on Superior Custom Garage Tommy, doing more work on his hatch, and then helping Braven and Bravis with Braven's DA. But yeah, I was just making one of these so I could, you know, have something to sell for the day, post it up, see if anybody wants it, and then yeah, finish this, go premiere the other video. But figured I'd live stream. I was on Instagram, but a couple people said I should go on YouTube, so figured I'd come on here, talk to you guys for a bit. Hopefully my phone don't overheat. Like I said, let me know if you hear any wind noise, because if the phone starts getting hot, I got this little fan behind it. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. What do you guys got going on today? Anybody doing anything cool? Working on the car, going on an adventure, doing something? So good. I'm blind. Can't see. The light coming in from the window just like wigging my helmet out. This helmet has much better like clarity than my Harbor Freight helmet, but it gets wigged out a lot more. Mostly when I'm using the MIG. Like if I'm using the TIG, the auto darkening works perfect, but the MIG weld, it kind of freaks it out. Stuff stinks, so burning the oils off it, like it's... You guys gonna see if I sit down? Oh, yeah. It's fine. Where's my fancy little holder? Could have just made one of these for myself, but I don't want to have to weld something onto my table since it's already limited space as is. The magnetic one looks totally fine. Maybe this wasn't the best spot for this. Yeah. Oh no, it's magnetized to it. A couple more welds and this thing is done. Oh, that breeze feels so nice. It's like flying into my helmet, getting on top of my head. smacked my light that's above me. You guys can't see it, it's out of frame. But I just smacked my light with my freaking, when I was on the jig, and it like came off its hook and smacked me in the head. It was not a good time. Oh, that's hot. Very, very, very hot. Okay, I think this one's pretty much done. All the way around. Yep. Oh dear, my apologies. No. Okay, that was my bad. Smacked the friggin' stand, my little rack that my phone's on. Okay, we got ourselves another brace. This one's available, $150 plus shipping. Shipping is averaging around $32-ish. Shout out for Houston. Shout out Houston. Oh, the fan making all that rub. Oh, okay. This better. Those. So, yeah, another brace. Done. I'll flip this around. There we go. There we go. Nice solid MIG welds. Good little brace. But yeah, so, ooh, that's hot. $150 plus shipping. And I do verify these in my cars. This one was made off of my jig. My jig was made off of my cars. But just to be like extra double certain for sure, I usually when I run and test it in my car, make sure all the bolts line up. Just because it's my luck that something goes wrong, so I like to be double sure. But well, I bought a little tray here, a little box of drawers, so that way I can start prepping material. Because I was just saying on my Instagram live that this is what I really need to start doing, because I did this the other day. I prepped my material, and it made everything go a lot faster. So other than live streaming, this thing took me about an hour to make, start to finish, welding, cut time, and everything. Because these pieces are kind of a pain in the butt. Because these ones, because they're so small, I can't fit them in my, whatever this thing is called, my tubing notcher. Because you can see it has to rest in here, and obviously that's not long enough, let alone long enough to reach that piece. So what I have to do is I have to get a long piece of material, say for example like this, notch the one end of it, and then feed it through, mark it where I need it, like get my measurement, cut it, break it off, clean it up, deburr it, then feed it through, so on and so forth. And doing that, and then taking the time to break everything I own because I'm stupid. But yeah, and then these are all, I cut these all at 2 inches, and then I TIG weld the little washers on, so that way the MIG welds, MIG welds just kind of bulkier. The TIG looks a little bit better, and it gives me a little bit more practice, even if it's 5 dabs at a time. But it's really time consuming because I deburr these. Like, if you look in there, there's no metal shavings. You're not going to snag yourself, cut yourself on any of that. Like, I try and make this as good as I can. But it takes a while to make one brace if I just go one at a time. And I cut up 4 of these, weld on the 4 washers, and I have to go through, cut up 2 of these, and then go through, cut out each plate, then go through, like, bolt it all up, and then get my measurements and mark and cut out my center bars, and then notch those. So it's so much faster if I actually come in here, just make a whole bunch of these like I did. I made enough for the amount of material that I have sitting right there. And yeah, so that way I can just pull out my jig, slap the jig on the table, bolt up the feet, and then I already got my measurements written down here, like front and rear, the lengths right there, and then I just cut my lengths, notch it, and then throw it on and start welding. So much faster, much more efficient. Starting to kind of get the hang of this whole self-employment thing. A lot of you guys have been actually keeping up with me in the comments on other videos asking how it's been going and stuff. And honestly, thanks to you guys, it's been going pretty solid. I've sold, if the guy comes through tomorrow and doesn't flake, then I'll have sold 8 braces so far in about 2 to 3 weeks. And then if this one sells in the next, I don't know, whenever this one sells, it'll obviously be number 9. And then I've had pretty consistent amount of side work, and it's been pretty solid. So thanks to everybody local, especially, that's been hitting me up. And if you are local and you need mobile welding work done, you need me to make you a downpipe or something like that, hit me up on Instagram. And really soon here, once I get a little bit more money, I'm going to buy a second bottle. Where's my welder? I'm going to buy a second bottle like that, get a second regulator, because I want to start making legit downpipes and stuff. And you need to be able to, obviously that's made out of stainless, you need to be able to back purge your stainless, because let me show you if I have a piece of stainless around here somewhere that I could use as an example, which I don't think I do. Everything here is not stainless. Okay, well, layman's terms, when you weld stainless without a back purge, if you look inside the tube where your weld was laid, it looks kind of chunky, gritty, nasty, and it's not supposed to look like that. So what you have to do is when you back purge it, it purges, it keeps the air, the argon gas flowing through there and doesn't allow oxygen, because that sugaring, as it's called, is a chemical reaction to oxygen cooling the weld too rapidly, and it makes a sugaring effect. It's not as strong. Like my Miata downpipe hasn't cracked yet. I've been beating the snot out of that car since I boosted it 2 months ago, and my welds haven't cracked yet because non-back purge welds just aren't as weak and they don't look as good, because when you're welding it without the back purge, the welds on the top kind of sink in a little bit, and when you're back purging it, it almost feels like there's something in the tube, you know? I mean, you have the gas and whatnot, so the welds just kind of beat up nicer on back purge stuff, but it's expensive. I mean, this bottle right here, I think, is an 80 cubic foot bottle or whatever. The bottle itself, that one, to refill it only cost me about $35-40, but to buy the bottle with the first fill is around $200. And then the regulators aren't cheap. This is a Harbor Freight regulator right here, and that thing still cost me $70. And then purge plugs, you have to buy purge plugs. The ones that I wanted from a company called TIG Aesthetics, because I don't have a mill or a lathe or anything like that to make my own back purge plugs, which is basically what it sounds like. It's just, I mean, say for this obviously isn't something I back purge, but it's just something to plug in the end, and then you hook up your hose to it, and then on the other end of it you would put like aluminum foil or what have you, just so the air can flow through it. You poke holes in it and stuff. But yeah, so back purging setup to get me a decent one would run me probably around $300-400. Good chunk of change, especially when I just spent $800 on a tubing bender that hasn't even showed up yet. Friggin' waiting. And I got my shipping information finally. They finally sent it out, and it only took them 3 weeks, and it's not supposed to be here for at least a couple days, but we will see. I'm just excited. I can't express, like, I'm so much happier, I guess. Like, I don't have to wake up miserable every day because I have to go to Hassport. And it's, don't take that in the sense of like Hassport is that miserable of a place. Like, I'm not going to get into that. I just the 9-to-5 life, I just can't do it. I can't stand getting up every day making somebody else a bunch of money while I'm just barely scraping by. And I know a lot of people out there like that, like a lot of you guys are like that. I mean, for example, Tommy at Superior Customs, that's why he has his own business. He couldn't stand working for other people, I'm assuming. Or why Brian and Keith at Hassport even started Hassport in the first place. Keith is a businessman. He had a junkyard beforehand, and Brian had the smarts, so they started that, because why work for somebody else with your ideas when you can do it for yourself? So I'm in the position where I can at least take advantage of my living situation. If you guys already, I'm sure everybody already knows, like, I don't live with my dad per se. I rent this guest house on the property, so it's really nice because it makes up for lost time that I didn't get to spend with him growing up. But I get cheap living. I get to help him make sure his cars and stuff are taken care of. It gives me opportunity to pursue my stuff. And then in an instance like this, where I don't have to worry about getting kicked out because I'm still making ends meet, I'm still paying my bills, and I'm actually making just as much money right now out of Hassport as I was in Hassport, and I'm doing 1/6, 1/5 of the amount of labor, and I'm getting to meet a lot of really cool people. Like, if I had been at Hassport still, I wouldn't have been able to go and do all this stuff with Bravis and Tommy this past like week and stuff, because it was all middle of the week type stuff. We were meeting up at, or yeah, it was like all day Friday, Thursday, whatever, and we were doing all this stuff. I'm really grateful for everything I learned while I was there. Don't get me wrong, because if I had never been there, I'd never probably would have got this much into welding, because I never would have experienced how much it sucks to work in a shipping department. But it's just dope. I mean, it's cool. I can wake up and not totally hate life anymore, and hopefully I can keep this up. Do I have all my machines shut off? Yeah, hopefully I can keep this up though, because I love being able to just wake up, do my own thing, make my own money, make my videos, because my YouTube channel is going up quite a bit more consistently. Everything is made. I should probably mark that brace before I forget. But yeah, it's just dope. Let's see. I will whoever buys this one, I'll give you a little autograph, because I'm kind of dumb, so I need to remember which brace this is. So yeah, it's very, very hot still. So let me, son of a biscuit. Yeah, you know what, we'll just ouch. I'll write this like under the sticker. Where I put the sticker, is this inside? So set it this way, and then I've been slapping my YouTube sticker right here as like a brand for the time being. So we'll say Del Sol / EG. There you go. And we'll just leave that, because I have a couple more of these sitting up front on my porch, and if I don't mark it, I will forget what it is unless I measure it, and I'm too lazy for that. I don't even know how to get to the comments on here. Skate or die. Hell yeah, skate or die. Yeah, one of these someday I'll. Oh, phone's starting to overheat. Ooh, it's getting spicy. It's starting to slow down. Well, I'll answer a few of these and I'm gonna get going, because I think we're gonna go on a drive. Who got 100 for sale? Less than 1,000, no mods. Check SoCal, because I'm trying to find a Honda right now too for somebody. And the ones out here are super expensive and beat up, but the SoCal ones are. See if this works better. I think the phone's getting hot. That's why it's wanting to trip out. Cool you off a little bit. The DA ones I think should be good for the EF. If somebody has an EF, at least an EF hatch or whatever you're trying to do, if you can measure me from center bolt hole to center bolt hole of the rear strut, I can compare with my DA one and see if it fits, and if it fits, then I can just market them for DA EF, and it should be good. But I think it should work. I don't have an EF on hand to test. Tommy was only here for 2 days, so we couldn't I couldn't try and fab up a whole product while we were trying to get stuff done, while he had stuff to do. But all right, I'm gonna end this video, or end this live stream, and I'm gonna go premiere my other video where we're finishing up welding on Tommy's hatch, at least while he was out here, and getting some work done on Braves' DA. So yeah, anyways guys, head over to the premiere if you want to hang out a little bit longer. Thanks for watching.